I broke down. It was like, oh my God, she's alive.
A year after vanishing, his dog Chevy found. But this viewer from Waterford says the microchip company refuses to tell him who has her.
Tonight, a Call Kurtis investigation exposes problems in the system that could keep you from getting your lost pet back.
This one is going to strike a nerve with anybody with a microchip pet. And I want to make sure you have the best shot at getting your pet back.
Awesome dog. I'm having a hard time not getting choked up right now about it.
When Mike Weed whistled for his dog Chevy, she didn't come that September day last year.
And as I got closer to the fence, I could see that she had dug under the fence.
Chevy could be anywhere in this Waterford neighborhood, the farms and fields of Stanislaus County, or beyond. Although the 8-year-old he raised from a pup was microchipped.
I thought a dog that's microchipped, if they were found, you would for sure get them back.
But days turned to weeks, then months, then a year. Mike feared the worst.
It's like not having one of your children around and not knowing where they're at or are they okay.
Then, 1 year and 1 week to the day Chevy vanished, this email showed up. Microchip company home again saying, we have received a request to transfer the microchip contact information for your pet Chevy. Please respond to this email with your approval.
I broke down. It was like, oh my God, she's alive.
He called home again to get Chevy back, but was shocked. The company refused to say who had Chevy, citing their privacy policy.
They know who has your dog,
That's correct.
but they will not tell you where your dog is located.
Yes.
Although Home Again claims Chevy showed up 6 months earlier, 40 miles away, at Tuolumne Animal Control in Jamestown. They provided Mike with a copy of this email, saying they sent it to him in March, saying great news. Animal Control took in a pet with Chevy's microchip number.
I never received the email.
We looked closer. That email address has 2 @ signs, not a valid address. But this registration paperwork proves Mike gave Home Again the right email info and 2 contact phone numbers. Home Again won't tell us what failed.
I've never had a case like this.
When a dog shows up here to Tuolumne County Animal Control, manager Mike Mazook shows us the process.
So this will read all major American and European microchips.
The scanner pulls up the pet's ID number you plug in online. You may be surprised to know it does not pull up the pet owner's contact information, just a phone number for the microchip company.
I think it's a little archaic.
Then the owner's contact information is shared over the phone.
The information that we got from the microchip company was put into our database, and that's what we called.
What are the chances you just missed the call?
That's impossible.
When we pulled Animal Control records, we uncovered the 2 numbers they had for Mike were wrong. One number had transposed digits. The second number had a 3 written instead of a 9. It's unclear if Animal Control entered the numbers wrong or if the information Home Again gave was incorrect. Facing possibly being put down, Chevy was legally adopted out in April, now living with a new family in Sonora. After loving her, bonding, you could only imagine how that family felt trying to update Chevy's microchip, learning her first family wanted her back.
So they have legally adopted the animal correctly, so it's their dog.
She belongs to us. She belongs home with her family.
There will be people who maybe rescued a dog somewhere along the line who may look at this differently, and they may say, look, your dog has been through a lot the past year, and your dog is in a loving home that is stable at this point. So why should that dog come back to you?
I had the dog for 8 of 9 years of her life. She belongs to my family. If it was your child, would this be okay? No.
Still to come, the call during our interview
Hi, Smike.
that brought Mike to tears.
That's awesome.
After more than a year, he gets to see Chevy again. But will he get to keep her? And what every pet owner should do to have the best chance at getting them back. Next.
disappearing from the yard more than a year ago.
Just an awesome dog.
Mike Weed of Waterford learned through an email somebody else was trying to update his dog Chevy's microchip contact info.
I broke down. It was like, oh my God, she's alive.
Turns out 3 clerical mistakes between the shelter and the microchip company kept him from getting notified when she showed up at the shelter 6 months earlier as a stray. Now adopted out, Chevy is living with a new family who did not want to give her back.
She belongs to us.
But does she?
They are the new owners by law.
Saying this case exposes a weakness in microchips, Amy Gilbreth with Michelson Found Animals says these chips, smaller than a fingernail, are the only permanent identification for a pet. But she says they are only as good as the people using them. A complicated, multi-step process with no room for error. Once your pet is implanted with a chip, you must take that next step and register the microchip with your contact info.
The most frequent problem that we see is that pet owners do not register and keep their chip up to date.
With so many brands of microchips, the shelter must thoroughly scan your pet and find the chip.
So we see, here's the microchip number.
And you must trust they'll accurately transfer the numbers into the industry's lookup tool. Remember, that tool doesn't give your contact information, instead telling the shelter which microchip registry to call. And that registry must give your accurate contact info, and the shelter staff must correctly write it down. And then it's up to the shelter on how hard they work to track you down. In Chevy's case, the shelter had the wrong contact info and only made 2 calls.
I think it's sad and that most of the time it's avoidable.
Working to simplify this complicated process, her nonprofit created Michelson Found Animals Registry at found.org, a free site. No matter which brand of chip is in your pet, when the shelter scans your lost pet and puts them into the industry lookup tool, found.org pops up. Once their group is contacted, they hit one button, blasting calls, emails, and texts to you and your personal contacts.
We received a report that someone found your lost pet. Please check
12 different notifications within 4 days.
It saves the shelter time and it eliminates fat fingers and human error. And we like to say that we really bug you to come pick up your pet at the shelter.
Mike wishes he knew about this free registry. The day I met him in his yard, I had already spent days working with everybody involved in this case. His phone rang.
Can I answer?
Sure, please do.
Hi, it's Mike.
It was Tuolumne County Animal Control.
Oh, fantastic. That's awesome news. Thank you. All right, bye-bye. They're going to give her back. Sunday at 2, we go to Animal Control. We get her back.
Chevy's adopters had a change of heart, and they wanted to return Chevy.
That's awesome.
Officer Mike Mazouk is who was on the other end of that line.
They're very saddened to do this, but they want to do the right thing, and they want to get the dog back to the original family.
He says his department followed the law, adopting out Chevy, but admits his office could have made a better effort tracking down Chevy's owner.
But from now on, I will make sure that I'm the last person in line making phone calls.
We were there that Sunday afternoon for the reunion.
I'm about to cry already. I'm trying to hold it back.
382 days after Mike last saw Chevy, she comes through the door.
Chevy! Chevy! Come here, Chevy. Come here. Come here. Hi, baby. Hi.
If this dog's tail could talk,
Hi. Yeah. Good little girl. Huh? Yeah, I miss you. Yeah.
it was too hard for the other family to be here, but they shared a message.
They stated that it was just a blessing to have such a beautiful dog and be able to care for it. And they're upset that they had to give her back, but it's the right thing to do.
She said, I'm a superstar.
Good girl. Good girl. You ready to go home?
Chevy, now back with her original family.
I'm so happy. She knows who we are. I don't think dogs forget.
Well, the #1 way to get your pet back, A collar with a tag, a registered microchip with up-to-date contact information should be a second line of protection.
So we've learned that there are many steps along the way where mistakes can happen, but how do you check your pet's microchip to make sure there aren't any mistakes?
Well, do you know the microchip number? That's the first thing. If you know your pet's microchip number, go to a free registry like found.org and you could register your pet there. Now remember, that site registers any microchip brand. And if you don't know the microchip ID, I've teamed up with 8 shelters across our area for a free event tomorrow. Between 2 and 6, you could bring your pet, they'll scan for a chip, and you can make sure your contact information is accurate and up to date. And if your pet is not chipped, all of the shelters we're working with have also agreed to give free chips or deeply discounted chips.
Wow.
Nice I posted all this information on our website.
So many pet lovers out there watching this going, I need to know.
There's a big surprise. A lot of people don't realize all this. So, all right, if there's something you want me to investigate, let me know. Go to cbs13.com/callCurtis.